Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Gumbo Podcast Mentor Tournament 2021 for Link to the Past Randomized. We are in the Swiss round of round 2 with Rainman versus LucienGreeth. I wonder if I pronounced that right. But nonetheless, thank you for joining us today. I will be your commentator, Esper, Hubb, and along with me for the ride, my co-commentator, Pick 6. How you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. So, what do we have in store for us for today? What's our rule setting for this round?
So we are playing Open Assured. So you get a free sword. Open mode, so you don't have to do escape. I think a lot of people start with the front of escape anyway. Really the world is going to be their oyster as soon as these runners choose to start.
Yeah, I feel like with the Assert sword, you are more inclined to go into doing an escape sequence anyway, because you have, at the very least, a weapon. Take out those checks along the way. And if you're very, very confident in your skills, we can go to Dark Cross from the Dark Room without having to worry about the lantern. But as we get in our first chest, the Hook Shot, which is an amazing initial item to come across very early in the seed. It allows you to get to some areas that you probably need to finish the seed off, but it is a very useful tool for movement as well as killing certain enemies and stun prizes on the back.
Yeah, if we have a nice stun prize, that could come in handy. Especially if it's something like money or bombs, or even a magic refill can be very, very convenient.
Yeah, as we saw from that tier 1 tree pull, we didn't get really anything of usefulness. And speaking of stun prizes, we get 1 rupee for the stun prize, so not really that helpful. We do get a fire rod though for coming here though, so that's fantastic. Both of our runners are going to be feeling very happy about that. That actually puts Dark Cross into logic, because at the very least there's a torch in each of those dark rooms that you can get into.
Yeah, I don't know how you feel about that. Dark Cross is one I have been typically leaving to be the last check I do an escape, just trying to narrow down if it's going to be that map or small key.
Either.
Decide to do.
I would agree. Like, worst case scenario, it does have linear progression items, but at this point, like, you'll have to think, like, do I really want to go through the dark rooms or try to find my way around it, or find the torch at the very least to get around it? If you're not familiar with the Dark Cross rooms and their torch locations, it can be very hard to navigate, but let's see if our runners are going to do that. Speaking of which, I almost completely forgot, it left my mind, but our runners are paired up with mentors who will guide them through the seed, give them some tips and tricks, as well as offer counsel advice, which is very sound, and as we all know, wisdom is gold. For Rainman, their mentor is Alaszun, and for Lucien, we have as their mentor.
Yeah, I know a couple of people that have worked with Alaszun. I know he's a big proponent of checking Dark Cross early, so I'd be interested to see if he advises Rainman to set up a death or pure ball and chain.
Speaking of death, it seems like Lucien may have a similar idea, unless that's just a bit of a moment of being very careless, but let's see how that turns out for them.
Yeah, it's a pretty safe fight with the fire rod. Roast him.
I was about to say, like, wait a minute, I forgot they had the fire rod. They don't really need to worry about it that much. But
yeah, it looks like Rainman did opt to keep the green guy alive. I think he's going to get a promotion from Aghanim for killing the hero.
And Lucien taking an unfortunate death on the chain ball guard. Went a little too close there. Probably didn't realize that they had the fire rod. So it seemed like they're going to leave out that chest, and hopefully, gonna hope it wasn't really that much. But I think that was a piece of heart that was in there anyway. So
yeah, you know, unfortunate to see the map. You know that the small key can't be back there, but you could hope and pray that it's the map and you don't have to go all the way back. But it looks like Rainman is going to be continuing into Dark Cross. We know that could be our key, and we could continue, or we may be saving and quitting out of here.
I feel like if a key is here, that's okay because it allows us to get into the back part of the sewers super early, and I think that's fine. But of course, it could be some. Oh well, never mind. It's 50 rupees.
$50. Yeah, it could be pretty spicy if you do get a key and you can keep going to the back and getting a glove. But oh hey, we have a hammer at the stream spot. So a lot of good options out there for good items out there for our runners so far.
Yeah, that's pretty good. The hammer, not only that it does tempered sword damage, but it is also a key component for our gateway going into the dark world. So all of our runners need now is the gloves as well as a moon pearl, and they're good to go. But sometimes you may not get the hammer this early in the seed like this. Sometimes you get Titan's moon pearl to get into dark world, and then sometimes last location your hammer, which is probably the worst feeling in the world.
Yeah, we also were able to find the 110 pack of bombs when we were doing the front of escape, so that's going to make it a nice come route through CAC. I think we'll see similar routes of just going north to south and saving and quitting out of the race game.
Yeah, I agree. Like probably going to be some what I like to call the gentleman's handshake in this sort of situation. Both of you are gonna come across each other for a while, and we do get a Samora Cane and Blind Tut. That's a very good item as well. Allows you to, at the very least, finish up Total Rock and Misery Mire, but it also allows you to do door extension glitch, which is a very home staple thing you can perform for Ice Palace to make that dungeon a lot more bearable.
Yeah, worth while we're going through the CAC loop, worth mentioning both of these runners are 1-1 in Swiss. So one of these runners will be improving to a 2-1 record today. The other will be at 1-2. They'll be in good company. Most of the field will be at one of those two records after this week.
We're getting a lot of money, but boomerangs and some more bombs. So potion bottle merchant ain't gonna be much of an issue. But I'm starting to think, I wonder if all this money that we're coming across may point them towards Zora Lake.
Yeah, that is the advantage of coming to Kakariko early is you can pick up some money, potentially parlay that into a fake flipper up into the Zora area. I think the South Shore before CAC can be a little spicy if you get bombs, especially with no shirts. The opportunity to pick up a bottle or shovel before you would end up in CAC. But it looks like we found our first glove.
Yeah, that's one glove down. All we need is another one, but we're getting ever so closer. We're getting a lot of our very much needed progression. Like, you may not think of it, but hammer and glove and a fire source is definitely what you will be very happy to see very early in the seed, because it allows you to handle a little bit more checks than you normally probably wouldn't do in this situation. You'll be more inclined to go route in some other stuff, and we do get a match check. Both two blues in Desert and Eastern, with a red crystal being on Tower of Hera.
Yeah, and with with the glove and the hammer and the hook shot, the runners do have access to Tower of Hera right now. It's not in logic. And we have a Moon Pearl on the library, which is good news for these runners, because it means that unless there's something on Lumberjack, we will not have to see Aga today. And our boots are not too far away.
Yeah, boots is... If Moon Pearl is locked behind with the library that requires boots, you can be very happy to know that you're going to come across those boots as soon as possible. But yeah. I would like to think that I feel like the boots would be in South Shore, but I could be completely wrong on that regard.
Yeah, unless we see a lamp or a flute to put the mountain in logic, I expect we're probably gonna find those boots somewhere in like the mini Moldor Mice Rod Cave area.
We do get a shovel and the small key. as well as 20 rupees. So at this point, yeah, looks like they're going to go into the dark part of the sewers, which is from this, like, despite it may look like it's a quick way to get around to there, I feel, if I'm not mistaken, both ways going into Dark Cross are like at the very same length, so to say.
Yeah. Oh, Lucien remembering that they're gonna need to find the key rat.
There it is. Don't forget the key rat.
I prefer coming from the back. I think it's a little more comfy route. Not having to deal with that very small room that's full of snakes.
I don't have a personal preference as far as how I want to get into Dark Cross. I just kind of take it as is. If I feel comfortable doing it, I will do it like while I'm there. But if not, then I just use it to say, you know, I can just go back to it later. Especially if I did end up picking up gloves early.
Lucien reorienting himself downwards while he's looking for that key door. You're not able to open it if you're moving perpendicular to it, but I was able to make the correction. With Dark Cross already done, Rainman was able to save and quit out of the back of Escape, not having to navigate the dark back of the sewers, and we'll get a look at what's behind that shovel.
And Lucien taking another unfortunate death there at Dark Cross. Feels like he may have to scrap that idea of going into it, but no, it looks like he's going to try it again, and he gets full magic for it this time, though, thankfully enough. So he should be able to do it with no issues.
Yeah. He doesn't know that it's only, I believe, $50.
Yeah, it's only 50.
But if you don't pick it up and you decide to bail on it, you just have to think about that for the next hour and a half.
Yeah, and it could be a very painful thing to try to ignore it, and then you realize, what if it has real progression? And that's the beauty of dealing with gambles like that. You have to hang on the lingering thought that the choice you may have made may have been a mistake or not. But I feel like if you're doing something like that, you have to fully commit to it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we get a red boomerang in the dam, so we're going into Mini Moldrum Cave. Rainman getting there first, so we're gonna see what kind of items we're going to get. If our runners know this, oh yeah, there we go. I was about to say, like, our runners should know Hookshot can just definitely take them out, so they don't really have to run around, chase them around that much to get them out. Okay, piece of art, magic powder, another piece of art, and 20 rupees. While it did not have our boots, it did have something that kind of bothered me, which is a cape. But well, no, I forgot. Moon Pearl is on library. I mean, boots wouldn't be in Dark World Pyramid Ledge, right? Right?
I hope for our runner's sake that they're not. Open Assured does take the AGA requirement down from just from 3 items down to 2. So it seems like it's easier to have AGA be required, but what a dumb way to get AGA into the seed.
Yeah, that will be really terrible.
Well, these runners won't have to worry about that until they find a lamp, though.
We do get a Quake medallion, so that's 1 medallion of 2. If we get all 3, we don't have to worry about the entry for Misery Mire and Turtle Rock. But that is if they are crystal dungeons, though, because we do have 3 crystals in the light world of all things. So Dark World's going to definitely have some pendants for us, but at which location, though? I kind of hope in Misery Mire and Turtle Rock, so they don't have to deal with it as much, unless the sea kind of want to dictate that they have to go there to get that progression.
It's yeah, I'm interested to see what Rainman's going to decide to do here, because we do have the powder that we can check. We also have King's Aura. And then we have not seen Sahashua's Closet or a bowless dip into Eastern, but a bowless dip into Eastern feels pretty bad. I think this might be an out of logic mountain play with maybe a stop at the Lumberjack.
Stop at Lumberjack to take a look at the Lumberjack list to see if there's any other progression item while they're contemplating the choice of it's just 20 rupees. Contemplating the choice of if they have to go to the Agro one, but doesn't seem to be the case. But
well, if they want the hardest $20 they've ever earned, all they have to do is climb the tower, kill it, and run headfirst into a tree.
Oh, Prize Crab is giving bombs out, so that's something else to consider, but not as much since our runners do have plenty of bombs to work with.
Yeah, the 10-pack's a really nice early find. Lucien's in better position to do the in-logic check and go see what's on Magic Bat.
Yeah, it looks like that's probably the reason why they dug up those 20 rupees there, but Rainman just getting out of there. Now he's out of logic, getting 20 rupees for his effort for the first prize. But thankfully enough, with the hook shot and the hammer, he should be able to go into Tower Pair. Along with that, check out the east side of Death Mountain, do all those checks as well.
Yeah, he's got 11 checks outside the dungeon and 2 items in Hera.
So worst case scenario, Lucien finds boots, and I was about to say that gave me a little startle there because I thought I saw the boots there, but no, I was like, oh wait, that's blue. But
we found our ice rod.
Funny enough, and watch Turtle Rock be a pendant of all things. But anything that Lucien if Lucien finds the boots early, not find the boots, but find the boots before going to Death Mountain, then that could spell a little bit of trouble for Rainman, because that means that Lucien will have a little bit of an early advantage with the ability to just dash everywhere, to, from, and over there if you really feel so inclined, because not many people will think of it, but when you have the boots early in the sea compared to not having none at all, the time you save going to and from the map sections saves up a lot of time.
All right, that's just some money in a heart piece in the cowboy closet. In the Thieves Town.
Yeah, that's not the worst place the green pendant could be in a dark world, to be honest. In fact, they can actually go ahead and clear it and then come back to here before doing House of Darkness to get their green pendant prize if they ever get the chance to get their progression, their boots needed to get into Dark World.
Yeah, but Lucien is opting for the Eastern Palace dip. I mean, this is a lot of Sphere 1 locations, but it feels really bad to double dip dungeons.
Okay, well, in my personal opinion, to put it in perspective, Eastern Palace is the least offensive to double dip in at this early in the stage, because 1, it's a crystal dungeon, so you're going to have to clear it anyway. 2, if there is no bow here, that's okay. The moment you get it, you can just come back here quickly and get through the last part of the dungeon without much issue. And 3, you can tie this into Palace of Darkness if you do find your bow and mirror. So double dipping here is not the worst case. I would feel like dungeons like Turtle Rock could be like the worst case to double dip in, or Ice Palace.
Mire and Ice feel pretty bad, especially if you don't have that cane. In this case, the runners do, so you can get to the items in Ice pretty quick.
Yeah, I feel like Eastern is not that huge. Like, you're gonna double dip it, but you're going to do some checks first before you double dip. And these checks could lead you to your item.
Look like a mushroom on the floating island. Rainman opt to skip Spiral Cave.
He may end up going to do that last, so I wouldn't be surprised. But just now realized that they did get the Ether Medallion, so that must have been part of the Paradox Cave.
To answer chat, we have not seen Agina. So we have Agina, Zora, and I think we have exhausted our in logic checks in Eastern Palace now with no logical mountain access.
Yes. So yeah, I feel like the next step will be going to Agina, just to do that one-off check before going to Zora. Because if you're gonna go do Zora, most likely or not, you're gonna. Oh no. Well, yeah, you're gonna fake flipper into it, but you can't even do waterfall because you do not have Moon Pearl or boots to water walk with.
Yeah. Oh, Rainman, I think, is lined up as Harapot. There it is.
A rather successful one without the need of boots. That is some good stuff there too low to be able to do that and not have to worry about the whatchamacallit, need any boots or whatsoever. Allows you to just do that. That's very great.
I missed what was in the lobby chest of Hera.
Lobby chest with a small key, so they opted out not doing coffee break for the big key in order to just finish the rest of this dungeon.
Okay,
Item 1 was the 10 arrows, though.
Yeah, we had a map in the basement cage, so go see what Moldorm has for us today. Rainman really hoping to see that second item, and so it can be he can just mentally be done with Hera altogether.
Fun fact, if you can use the hammer here, you can kill Moldrum in 3 hits.
The Master Sword spins will do tempered damage as well. Unfortunately, that's going to be a poke.
Oh, no. Thankfully, with weird movement that Morty did, was able to do that, and we get a piece of heart. So that puts an ease off of his mind, not having to go to the basement to get the big key, thankfully enough. As we are finished with this dungeon, and we're going to move on to the next. Rainman drawn first blood in 21 minutes with the first crystal.
So what do you think we're going to find first? Do you think we're going to find a lamp or a flute?
I feel like in this kind of situation, I feel like we're going to find. I wouldn't be surprised, but I feel like we're going to find the flute this time to get our Death Mountain access. But Zora Ledge has a male upgrade for us, so that's probably going to be a little bit of a worry on the mind of our runner.
Yeah, with with some bombs, a red boomerang, and the cane of Samaria, I think they could probably cobble together a splash to lead if that's a tech that they know.
I feel like our mentor could direct them into doing that, and I didn't realize what they pulled up in. There's our boots, though. We got our dark access.
Yes, King Zora with the land flippers.
And now begins the time of how much you can save on just going through this entire game by dashing. You will see a huge difference here as we see Rainman going into Eastern Palace, which we know it's not the play, but this play makes the most sense as Lucien has did as well. So
yeah,
I feel like when they finish this, they're going to go ahead to Zora and they'll end up with the same result. We'll look at it.
And this is also going to give Lucien access to Dark World. So it'll be interesting to see where they go with a whole bunch of new checks open to
them. If they feel ever so, well, they quit. Looks like they're going to get a hype cave.
Yeah, I like the hype cave start. They have the knowledge that Thieves Town is a pendant. So there's not any real rush to get over there. They could full clear it at their leisure.
Hopefully we do get a map check once we get into here, and we do. Pendant and Pod, as well as Swamp Palace and Beast Summons are green. Red Crystal on Ice Palace, so we are going to need our medallions to get into Federock and Mizumire, as well as the Fire Rod and Ice Rod. Well, mainly the Ice Rod, because Ice Rod, the only use you're going to get out of it the most is Federock.
Yeah, we are also myths away from being able to do Turtle Rock, and that is not a great feeling to have Turtle Rock that early in Logic. There's a mirror
and a fairy in a bottle. Amazing.
Yeah.
It seemed like
this.
Oh, go ahead.
This is gonna route nice for Lucien, because they'll be able to pick up K45 versus if they had come from the north, they would have to backtrack over that way.
Yep, and on their way to after the dig game, they can mirror out, go in, pay a visit to Sick Kid, and then go back into the Dark World for this way. But yeah, huge shrine finding the mirror in Hype Cave. I do believe we're gonna rate that 9 out of 10. Fairy in a bottle, would recommend.
Yeah.
And as you're seeing Rainman using the hook shot, we get our flute in K45. What is the seed? What's going on here?
That is very convenient too, because now we'll be able to activate that with Sick Kid as well. That puts the whole mountain into Logic, and now we kind of have the pieces of what the seed had wanted us to do.
So yeah, Lucien is further boosting ahead because he's gonna go into Death Mountain with those boots, and it's gonna. You're just gonna look at what Lucien's gonna do what Rainman did, except twice as fast at this point.
Yeah, it you always take a gamble when you break Logic for efficiency. Especially when you go up the mountain, it's a gamble. Are you routing around the flute or around the lamp? And it definitely feels like routing around the flute is more punishing.
All rise for the national anthem. So what does Sick Kid got for us today? You know what? That's actually pretty good, because you can always use a little bit more money. Plus, you probably need some for the chess game. But it looks like they're not inclined to go back into the Dark World now. So it looks like they're going to go ahead and do the Death Mountain to go ahead and get rid of get their first crystal.
Yeah, I think this is a good choice. Lucien also had the opportunity to continue up in Skull Woods, but being on a fighter sword and green mail, I can see why that may not be the most attractive option. So he will be able to pick up a master sword here.
Yeah,
he'll make the Dark World a little more comfy.
Yeah, I agree. I was going to say that, getting master sword here will probably persuade them to go ahead into Skull Woods after cleaning out the Death Mountain. But afterwards, I feel like with the fact that they have Cape, I feel like they're gonna check Bumper Cave once they're all done. They can go into Dark World through Kakariko, then they can check Skull Woods.
Yeah,
and if they want to, they can finish it. They do have the necessary equipment to do so, but they're probably not in a good. They probably don't. If I was a new runner dealing with Mothula or Greenmail, I would probably worry about that a lot more. So, depending on how comfortable the races are dealing with Mothula in this state, they could opt out not like doing from. They could opt out not finishing it, go into the front part of Skull Woods, then check bumper ledge, and then work from there.
I think with the flute and the bottle, you know, it's pretty convenient to go pick up a potion if you're not feeling super comfy.
Oh yeah, that too.
But you can't pass a crystal dungeon when you're right there with the ability to full clear it.
Oh, they just probably saved and quit.
So lamp logically can be a lot of places. That flute was completely accessible without breaking any darkroom logic. Our Dark World kit was completely accessible without breaking any darkroom logic. So, you know, outside of what the pod, the pod Dark Maze, Vitreous, there's not that many. There's a lot of places where that lamp could be. Nice Flash Elite for Rainman.
Looks like they're gonna go ahead and check out Hobo Thing.
Yeah, and this route will conclude with them getting their flippers since they've already demonstrated the Splash Elite capacity. I wonder if they're going to go for that blue mail as well. They don't have any more bombs.
Well, with the red boomerang, it maybe nah. Is there a way to do it with the? Because it doesn't look like they have much left to do the splash deletion with.
Yeah, I'm not sure which combinations of items all work. I know that the red cane, the red boom, some bombs, and some arrows. They could stop by the upgrade fairy if they wanted bombs to have the option, but then they'd have to splash delete again, which seems like a lot of work for like they don't know is decent payoff.
Yeah. Well, you do get like 15 if you do upgrade fairy. So
yeah, and unfortunately with no moon pearl, they're also unable to check the 2 caves at Waterfall Fairy. But I don't think they're going to be upset about getting a pair of boots.
Yeah, worst case scenario, they come back to here, they get their Waterfall Fairy checks out the way, and maybe a mail upgrade if they feel so inclined to do so.
And so now we're likely going to see these runners trace over each other's steps. Rainman will go get the Moon Pearl, see where he chooses to enter Dark World from, whereas Lucien will finish up the mountain, wrapping up with Tower of Hera, and then we may see these two runners converge on each other. Did we see the Block Rocks?
No, I don't think so. Well, it was a piece of heart anyway, so
yeah. So maybe we saw it and just forgot. It was not a very memorable Block Rocks.
Yeah, instead of going to Hype Cave, Rayman is opted in to go in from Kakarika Village. But they're gonna check Bat and Well, yeah, they're gonna check Bat first, right? Wait, what?
He's already.
Oh,
he's
Moon
already,
Pearl, Moon
right,
Pearl.
He's got the Ice Rod.
All right.
So I wonder if they're gonna rush straight to the completable at Crystal Skull Woods. It looks like they're not doing a save and quit to Link's house. I think that's going to be the way they're going instead of headed towards Hype Cave.
It's going to hurt them a little bit more because that's where their mirror is at, and that would allow them to route in a lot more things a lot more effectively, including the flute. So they're going to be further behind with the lack of the mobility items compared to Lucien.
Also, they don't have They also don't have the bottle, so they will have a small error in the Mothula fight.
Oh, yeah, that's if they decide to go ahead and do that, but we'll see in a moment once they step into the dark world. Meanwhile, we're getting a coffee break from Lucien. So Lucien opted to get the big key to go ahead and deal with this. And the reason why they're doing this is mainly because they have the mirror. The mirror will allow them to get out of this place the moment they open up their chest to get the big key. But we know that the big key chest doesn't really have anything, but it's still something. If he was running this seat yourself, more likely than not, you're going to be doing the same thing Lucien has done if you've gotten the items that he has, and that is something to consider.
It's yeah, I wonder how comfortable he is with the hair pot, because it does make it faster, but it's only faster if you do it right. So you always have to opt for consistency over speed. So I wonder how much of that is a factor versus how much being thorough and not wanting to orphan the big key chest. It seems like you could come back for it if you were able. If you were considering putting it off or had the ability to put it off, it seems like you would wait till you could deduce whether or not it was an item or not.
Yeah, but I was gonna say, like, I'm kind of surprised that they're not doing hair pod, especially since the fact they got boots. So yeah, they could not be very confident into doing hair pod with the setup, or at all, to be honest.
They're also opening the safety switches as well, so they will have access to the hearts.
Ends up taking a fall, unfortunately. But if they didn't get hit by the spark, they would have been able to walk against the big key chest to leap over that pit.
Yeah, if you leave yourself a little bit more room with the spark. Unfortunately, the spark was just right on top of him by the when he opened the chest and didn't have an opportunity to get away. Looks like we got a key in the bridge chest of Skull Woods. That was one I know that one of my mentors told me you should always check it before Mothula, because what if it's a sword?
Yeah, I would agree. I agree with that notion. Usually I don't, because like I'm probably more comfortable dealing with Mothula with very poor equipment settings, but
the other aspect of it too is that the only thing we saw in the vanilla big key chest was a map. So even if Mothula is an item, that's gonna be the next thing that we check anyway.
Yeah. I'll be right back real quick.
Okay, we temporarily have a 1-1 crystal tie. Rainman is stepping into Mothula, hoping to take a 2-1 advantage. Opting for some spins, which will do tempered sword damage, which you will only need 4 spins that do not knock Mothula into the spikes to get the kill. Deliberately moving around. Down goes the moth. So a nice slow and steady fight, and that's a bow and spike cave. That is spicy. And that is a really good get for Lucien, because with the mountain already cleared on Rainman's side, that is something that we may not see until we find a book to go check the ETH out.
I have returned. It seems like our... Oh, go ahead.
There was a bow and spike cave.
Wow.
So we did get one item off Mothula, just $5 for the extermination fees for Skullwoods. We'll see what our second item is. Lucien appears to be opening up Pendant Pod with that bow, or at least going to set a portal up.
Yeah, I feel like with the density, going into pod like this is agreeable, because then if there's nothing in pod, you can leave out and go into Eastern, finish that up, and then you move on with the rest of the seed. Harking back to the part where I say double dipping is not offensive in Eastern Palace. You could just loop this in as well. While it may not potentially have anything for us to use to finish the rest of the seed, it would at the very least get these checks out the way since they're here already.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I'm gonna be interested to see what they do in the back. Lucien has already taken one death in a dark room, so I wonder how comfortable they are in the dark maze, which is one of the most difficult dark areas in the game. Ether and Quake can make it a little bit safer.
Well, they do have a fairy in a bottle, if I'm not mistaken. So if they do end up taking an unfortunate death here, they got the backup needed to at the very least get a mulligan.
Yeah, and the nice part about working with a mentor is you do have an experienced runner who can walk you through. I have a printed out picture of the pod dark maze that I have on a clipboard next to my desk that I can reference if I need it. Yeah, Green Pendant Thieves is 4 items, and with the boots, it's very quick. There's a lot of very nice straightaways in Thieves Town.
So, think about it now. They never did step into the Village of Outcasts, have they? Lucien.
No, they saved and quit out of the big game, and then they mirrored out of the big game when I've activated their flute and went up to the mountain. But we're gonna have dueling pendant dip. So 5 items versus 5 items.
Which of these 5 items will give us our progression? Place your bets.
I think so far in pod all we've seen is 4 keys. Oh, there's the mitts.
There is our Titan's mitts. Someone in chat pointing out that sometimes some people always argue that pendant pod is always worth it. So just started, just channeling that a little bit of that collective hive mind ESP there.
I think Lucien was setting up the death warp. Unfortunately, forgot about that fairy in the bottle, but he has seen enough. He is going to take the mitts and go.
Worst case scenario, they have to double hit dip here for their last location item, but it's going to be very unlikely at this point because they're getting very closer to the acquiring. Actually, no, it could be potentially be in go mode if both medallions that they have acquired are their entry to both Misery Mire and Turtle Rock. They just need to make sure they get no, they don't need flippers either.
Well, yeah, they can get around the flippers requirement for Ice Palace. So yeah, this there are some dark rooms in but yeah, if we don't need bombos, that could be it.
Seeing switching to the fire route to get ready to go into this room, because the way to light the torch here is to move up a little bit, turn to your left or right, and make sure you fire that fire rod, and there you go. They get full magic for their efforts anyway, so they don't have to worry about magic usage from now on. And well, not really. Just feels kind of moot getting the full magic there.
That full magic will save about 2 seconds of magic refill frames when they defeat the Armos Knights.
Every frame counts at this point, I suppose.
Hey, if this race is decided by 127 or fewer frames, we're gonna go back to this as the play of the game.
Right. All right, time for the almost raid party. Looks like they're setting up for the quick kill. Oh, they almost messed it up. Oh no, they did. They got close to doing so, and they only got like one. Oh no, now they got to go first. You know you can kill Armos with the boomerang, and that disturbs me.
Yeah, but I ain't got all day, man. I got something. I don't want to have to take.
Theoretically, you can take the hammer to them, and that should be a lot quicker. Which I think our mentor is directing them to do now.
They have the burner.
Or that, you know, that's fine too.
So crystals are now even at 2 apiece as Rainman's entering the blind fight. But I think right now with those mitts and the bow, it's advantage Lucien.
Yeah, item-wise, definitely Lucien, because they just need to start working towards to the other dungeons at this point. And if they do not find flippers around that time, they're just gonna go ahead and make do with the fake flipper glitch to get in the Ice Palace at this point. But more importantly, we need to see what our medallions are for Turtle Rock and Mizumaya, because that could be the deciding factor.
Yeah, that's really best case scenario for Rainman is to find either the other bow or required bomb bows, or even a book that could direct him back towards the Spike Cave area.
Yeah, not going towards Spike, not going to Spike Cave well, I don't think they have like the means to get into Spike Cave, or at the very least do Spike Cave at all.
They have Cape and Burna. At the time they were up there, they did not have the Moon Pearl because they sequence broke up the mountain.
Yeah, that's right. Because that sequence breaking ended up to be much more detrimental to them than we originally thought. Yeah, once they get to High Cave and see that the mirror is there, they're gonna start panicking for the most part. But hopefully they'll be able to remain composed to be able to finish it and succeed. At least go to Cape of the Cloud to get the flute, and then start working towards Death Mountain to do those no, they don't think so. No. Not Death Mountain, but probably Palace of Darkness, because they do have the that's where the Titans ones are at, especially with the green pendant in hand.
That would guide them back to that area. Unfortunately, they've already dipped eastern, so it makes the area a little bit less attractive.
I mean, if they manage to get the bow from green pendant prize, who knows?
Yeah.
But I feel like if he had green pendant already and have the means to check out Palace of Darkness at this point without being able to get into any other dungeon, I feel like you might as well go ahead and do that.
Yeah, they're gonna pick up their flute now. It'll be interesting to see what they choose, which direction they choose to go with the flute. As Lucien has stepped into the moth fight and is gonna make use of that red potion.
Very, very useful red potion.
Opting for slashes instead of spins, being a little more hasty than Rainman took the fight, and paying the price in damage. Again, Mothula cheats.
Yeah, Probably the second to worst boss fight in this game. Oh, taking an unfortunate death.
It's yeah, the tortoise and the hare moth fights. The slow, deliberate spins. One out. The fastest refight is still slower than just not dying the first time. Very important thing to remember early on. Yeah, the route for Lucien has been really fortunate. The items just kind of keep showing up on the path, just leading to more items. It looks like Rainman is now headed into Palace of Darkness. He has picked up both the bottles, so he will have a red potion if he chooses to camera unlock, which would give him access to all the checks except for the Helmasaur King. Is this to stop the pyramid beforehand?
So it could be. We never did check Pyramid Ledge or Captain, so.
And depending on how comfortable Rainman is with this, the nice part about the Swiss stages is that you are running with a mentor. Last week I had the privilege of being on Restream, and everyone got to see my mentor walk me through Pod Camera Unlock live.
Yeah, that was pretty amazing.
I think that's something we've seen from the Rainman alaszun team, is that they're not afraid to break logic to get some more checks done, whereas Lucien and Dragonite have chosen to stay in logic and been rewarded for it.
That is to say, the next feed will probably be less lenient. Like, it's hard to explain it, but nothing is guaranteed, as I always like to say, forevermore for it will be. At one point, you're playing it safe. It could be your huge payoff, and sometimes it just will not be the case. Especially when I was mentoring. I think it was not yesterday, but on Friday, where we decided to play it safe, and the seed decided to be very, very cruel and unusual with its item placements.
So round two, Lucien takes the win off Mothula and is now taking a 3-2 crystal advantage. Dungeon prizes even at 3-3, but unfortunately pendants don't quite count the same.
It looks like Rainman is opting to not go into Palace of Darkness. Or did he even check the green pendant prize? Why go through all the trouble of Thieves Town and not check green pendant prize at this point?
Yeah, I gotta say, I agree. If you are going to make a gamble, you gotta follow it through. Maybe they're fishing for a bow to make Pod a little bit better.
We do get a male upgrade in the backup cemetery, so that will help him out a little bit, but not as much as a bow.
So I wonder if they're gonna drop down to the King's Tomb right now, since they can check that with Mirror.
And not too far from the area, Lucien is going to go ahead and check out Bonk Rocks, as well as Backup Cemetery and King's Tomb with this set of mirrors transitions.
Yeah, I thought we were going to see our two runners kind of high-five each other heading across North Dark World, but it looks like they've seen enough, and so we will see Lucien picking up that blue mail. He'll be pretty frustrated he didn't have that before the moth fight, but you have it now. And as it stands, we are still on a Master Sword, and potentially in an illogical go mode. So anything anything helps.
And it looks like Rainman is going into Spike K. They're probably up and on the going into doing all these other checks before even considering going to pod. And they're going to be very happy to find out that they're going to come across these boats.
Yeah.
So yeah, that will definitely direct them towards going into pod at this point now. Though I could be completely wrong in that regard, and they could go everywhere else, and I'll be like, "Why are you doing this to me?"
Well, they go to the they go get the old man health refill. That's the quickest one to get to, and they're gonna flute immediately to 5. So we'll see setting up the pod Eastern combo, and we should have ourselves a pretty close race. Lucien has the advantage by about currently the amount of time it would take to do Thieves Town, so just a couple minute advantage. As this is a play to sequence break Ice Palace.
This is the stuff that I want to see. Let's do a little bit of speed run at degeneracy and get some of these crystals gone.
I like it, right? A, B, C, D. Always be clearing dungeons.
Yep. Meanwhile, the green pennant prize from that Rayman cashed in on was nothing of a spectacular, unfortunately, but that's okay. They're going to go into House of Darkness, get their Titan's Myth, and then go into the Light World to finish off Eastern Palace at this point. And after that, it's just a matter of will they look for flippers to be in logical go mode, or will they just go ahead and break the logic by going into it with fake flippers and working from there.
So we are still logically going to need the flippers and the lamp. I think if you are going to sequence break around one of them, flippers is probably safer because it's locking one dungeon instead of 2. We will have the knowledge that our flippers can't be at Pyramid Ferry, but this is going to open up the Pyramid Ferry check for Lucien. Yeah, not knowing the Meyer and TR medallions, I think, is unfortunate because we are still going to have to check this, potentially looking for bombos. I think even if we knew that we were in go mode, we'd be checking the convenient checks, looking for a sword.
And looks like Lucien is doing the door extension, what we'd like to call it in this dungeon, the Icebreaker glitch. And what it does is that you have to clip into the barrier in a certain way by going into the door. Then after that, you drop a Samoria block. The moment you, while you're still holding down and right, to continue to clip into the wall, you're going to hit a Samoria block and then let go of your D-pad. Then let go and then tap to the left, hold down. And that is Bombo. So we don't have to worry about entry for our medallion dungeons, which is fantastic.
Yeah, so this is go mode for Lucien. It's just a question of how comfortable are you in the dark? How comfortable are you on a Master Sword Silverless Ganon? How comfortable are you getting Torch Glitch with the Fire Rod? So there's a lot of things to still look for that can make it easier.
Even Silvers at this point, or a bit more health, they're not very confident in these fights. And what Chaz pointed out, I completely agree. I would, if I had the ability to go into Misery Mire or at the very least the outside area of Misery Mire, I would do it just so I can check outside Misery Mire to see if those checks will give me anything desirable. But as we saw here, as the two kind of want to dictate, sometimes you just gotta go to your pod and all this other stuff and get your medallions and Ice Palace and what else did they get their other medallions? Not too far off. Those were like a sphere 0 and like a chest and a crystal ball, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, these have been available for a while. I want to say that maybe we got Quake in like the escape sequence, and then Ether was super early as well. Sometime in that like CAC South Shore area. There's probably a conversation happening right now with Lucien and his mentor about, how comfortable do we feel with our current loadout? What do we still want to keep looking for? When are we going to say, okay, we've seen enough? Rainman has now found the midst and is continuing through Palace of Darkness, so we'll be seeing a little bit more of the dungeon.
They're probably going to check the bow locked area just to make sure before opting out of it. But I wouldn't be surprised at this point if they dive in a little bit deeper, because they do not have the other medallion and they don't have flippers yet. So if they're playing logic at this point, I will be looking for flippers, even if it is a lantern lock.
So Lucien did the Bombo, switched over to the Fire Rod. The Fire Rod does gold sword damage against the Cold Stare Puff, so the best weapon that he has available to him.
Gets a key for his efforts as he gets another crystal done. He is 3 crystals away from entering Ganon's tower.
Yeah, this is this seed played really fast, and it was just how comfortable are you on some suboptimal equipment? But Cold Stare is now down, and that is a 4th crystal for Lucien.
And it looks like they are going to. I wonder what they're doing.
I think they're getting a little potion money.
Okay, yeah, this is an agreeable idea. Like getting the potion money, there's no harm in that. But if that was the case, I would have. They don't have flippers. They could have done Houlihan from Sanctuary, which I think our mentor is mentioning to them now, or at least.
Oh no, they're getting money for the big bomb.
Oh, they're gonna. Yeah, okay. Pyramid Fairy. But logically speaking, there shouldn't be anything behind Pyramid Fairy at this point. Even flippers for that case.
It could be your lamp, but it can't be your flippers. It could also be a sword, or your silvers.
I see.
But it's a long walk for a what's essentially at this point a fishing expedition.
I was gonna say I thought the flippers and lantern are the other way around. You can get your flippers, but not your. I mean, you can get your lantern, but not your flippers. Wait, what? Okay.
Yeah, we can't get our Ice Palace is flipper locked, so we can't get our flippers here. But Tower of Hera and Ice Palace were not lamp locked, so we could get our lamp there.
Interesting. Oh no, the book location won't be in here. The book location will be on Mushroom, which will lead into your book, which will lead into your flippers, I guess. Yeah. I mean, worst case scenario,
Blind checking pyramid. You also get to toss a bottle in, so you could potentially get a free potion here. And that's going to be good knowledge when you have the pyramid hole open. If you do fall to Ganon, or you do die and you need to get something, you know that you've got a red potion right here.
And on Mire Shed, we get our second bow upgrade.
Wow.
And this is part of the reason why you should, when the moment you got access to check out Misery Mire, you go ahead and do that, which is what Rainman did. So that you have to go into Pod, not only to get your Titans in, but to also get your bow if you did not get it in Spy Cave.
Yeah, where were the how locked were the mitts?
Well, we did end up
logically
getting,
bow locked.
we did get mitts at a zero sprint check, so it was not hard to get the first one. The second one was in Pod, and that didn't require the bow at all because that was in the front part of the Palace of Darkness. So you didn't really need much to get access to your gloves. Bows were Spy Cave and, as we saw here, Misery Mire, which required the Titans in it. So both runners do have easy access to get into their bows sooner than later.
Yeah.
Given the loadout of the seed.
Lucy being very thorough, continuing up to Catfish for a piece of heart. Oh, we got another ball on the desert ledge.
And Sandman knocking Lucien away from his taxi cab ride, which is rather rude of him. So yeah, it looks like both runners are going to go into their Desert Palace and Misery Mire to finish those two dungeons up, with Lucien being ahead by a pendant thanks to the breaking of the logic of the Ice Palace.
Yeah, so our mitts were not bow locked, so we did have both. Either bow could have logically been your first bow. But now this a little bit better, although albeit more awkward. Master Sword and Silvers is an awkward loadout for the Ganon fight, but takes you down from having to do 52 spins to what is that, 28, 32 spins?
24, I think. I thought it was 24 Master Sword spins to do it, but I think that's like double that.
Yeah, I think it's 12 for phase 1, 12 for phase 2, 4 for phase 3, and then another 4 to stun, and then shoot.
I think at this point you should switch to the fire rod if you're missing a lot of shots with your arrows at this point. But that's okay though. Lamos is down now, and that's a piece of heart. So now that is another dungeon done.
Both are items in desert as well. Nothing of note. But we now have a 4-4 crystal score, but Lucien is about to break the tie with an Ice Palace advantage.
And it looks like Rainman is going to go ahead and say, screw the logic. We're going to fake flippers. We're going to go into the Ice Palace this way. Throw logic in the trash.
Yeah, we 100% don't need our flippers. It's just Dark Mire is one of the hardest dark areas to do in the game. So I understand wanting to exhaust your convenient options for a lamp before you resort to that.
So while our runners are retracing each other's steps, I would like to mention that you should give them a follow in their respective Twitch channels. They're doing a fantastic job of handling the seed. Give a follow to our mentors as well, guiding our runners to be able to route this in as effectively as they can. They're doing a fantastic job being guidance to them. Give a follow to our tracker, ChatC13, who is keeping up with the action, keeping track of all the item counts for us, and our restreamer, Trey Spyre, for doing a wonderful job of getting this all together for us to watch and see. As well as my commentator, Pixel. He's doing excellent work here.
Thanks. It's been we're having a lot of fun on a Sunday afternoon. I hope everyone's been enjoying the race. We've had a really good one so far. Very even, which is always what you want to see if you're going to sit down and watch a 1v1 race. You know, at this point too, with how early everything became available for it, I wouldn't be surprised if we just find our lamp sitting in the front of Turtle Rock.
Don't say that, please.
I mean, it could just be sitting up there. Yeah, we have two swords that are just hanging around somewhere. Like
you know what? I prefer to be in Agena before any of those locations, which is what Lucien is going to be doing. So let's hope Lucien is right on this call to get Lantern. Normally, you don't see most runners go through this until they finish Desert Palace, and unfortunately, it's a piece of art. But you know what? That's okay. That's fine.
Yeah, they you know, when you're staring down a potential Master Sword Ganon, you'll take all the hearts you can get.
Or at the very least, do as much checks as you can to see if you can get Tempered Sword at this point.
Yeah,
and it does look like Lucien is going for Turtle Rock instead of Misery Mire. This play I can agree with because it doesn't take much to get into Misery Mire at this point. But Turtle Rock, you can finish it, and if you do not have Lantern, Turtle Rock's Dark Room is the not as horrible as the Misery Mire one.
Yeah, with you'll also be able to do as Lucien's doing, Super Bunny up into Hookshot Cave as well, so you have a lot more options to get a tempered sword to make, which will make your fights better as well.
Meanwhile, Rainman is going to be doing their Cold Stare fight. Going to drop in, do a Bombos dance, make it hot and spicy.
The really hot tip that I picked up, shout out to the Boots Camp videos, but for the Bombo skill, dropping in 3 quick slashes to bait the Icicle, do your Bombos, go up and spin, and you can spam Fire Rod for a pretty quick kill, which is nice considering that a Master Sword Cold Stare is not the most fun fight. It's more fun than a hammer.
I was gonna say you could switch to hammer and try this, but we wouldn't recommend it if you're still new to the game and chugging a red potion really quick before taking another hit by the Cold Stare, because they still do a lot of damage despite you being on blue mail.
Yeah, I think it's still 2 hearts, so Rainman was frames away from disaster.
Thankfully, was able to recover out of that and salvage that by picking up a key in their red crystal number 2. So they're going to be going ahead to Pyramid. Well, they're probably going to go ahead and follow suit into going into the Pyramid Fairy, and then after that, they will probably wing it to Misery Mire, or at the very least check Misery Mire. Or did they already check Misery Mire?
Okay.
Yeah, of course. Excuse me for a moment as I gather my thoughts, but Turtle Rock. Yeah, they too might be also opting in to go to Turtle Rock at this point, which I don't.
Yeah. Going for a splash delete here.
You know what? I think it's because they want to get red now. The only way I see someone doing splash deletion instead of fluting to 8 and then faith flippering would be to do splash deletion to get into fairy. But even at that point, fake flippering would have been a lot more cost effective.
Nothing of. Oh, we do have flippers.
That was what
Was that the
on?
Was that Hookshot Cave or was that the Mushroom
Hookshot
Tournament?
Cave, because Mushroom Tournament was 10 arrows.
Okay. So yeah, the so Lucien's gonna be able to get it the easy way. May also end up getting a free potion or maybe a free bee.
And decides not to throw his bottle in there. I guess it's probably because they're going to go ahead to the potion shop. But then they realize, oh wait, we can get red mail now. We can go and get that. Yeah, that would be a great idea. We need that much needed defense if we're doing Master Sword Ganon, which I completely understand in this situation. We took a lot of deaths. Safe at this point, you might as well play safety over speed, and try not to cut as much corners to save time. Because
Rainman opting not to do an additional splash delete is just going to head up towards Hookshot Cave and potentially TR as well. I like the red mail on that Dragoon sprite over there. It looks very cool with the white.
Yeah, that's pretty nice.
Our flippers were also not lamp locked, so just more places that elusive lamp could be. I said I was feeling like it could just be at the front of TR. It could be anywhere until you get to Mimic Cave, but I think I'm leaning towards it's probably just sitting in Swamp.
Or, it could be a complete degenerate of a seed. And, well, wait, no. Let me see. Thieves Town, Swamp, Pod.
Could be deeper in Pod. We didn't see our runners got the mitts and left, which, seems like it was probably the right play.
I was going to say Pet. It could be on Pet, but Pod, Dark Maze is hard walk to Lantern because there's no torch there. Unless there is no items whatsoever in the Dark Maze, then that's when I can assume that
well, it would still be
Ped.
Helmasaur is still going to be out of logic because the turtle room, the worst room in there, has torches in it, but you have to pass through a couple of rooms that don't.
Yeah. We could also end up finding a book somewhere, and then we end up doing the tablet checks.
Yeah. Lucien has touched Village of Outcasts.
I was about to say Lucien avoiding the Village of Outcasts like the plague now finally steps in for the very first time, being the super close to go moding to look for Lantern, which is, I feel like there's a little bit of a funny tale that had to be had here.
Yeah, that's the route had just been so good. There was nothing in Village of Outcasts. There was no reason to go to Village of Outcasts. Almost avoided it and Thieves Town altogether. I wonder if they're gonna do the front 4 of Thieves. They're being pretty thorough, looking for swords, lamps. I could see them doing the front 4. I don't know that they would clear it.
Meanwhile, Rayman is going into Turtle Rock. He ends up picking up a fairy in a bottle for his first chest. So we'll be seeing which of our runners is correct in their lantern pursuit. Is it in Turtle Rock or is it in anywhere but Turtle Rock at this point? But looks like
opting to do the Smiths as well. I think at a certain point, this is the opportunity during the Swiss stages to push yourself outside your comfort zone and challenge yourself with some dark rooms. Potentially challenge yourself with a Master Sword Ganon. I agree with opening the things that are on the way, but I don't know if I agree with how thorough Lucien's being right now.
it could be the mentor intervention here as well. Probably I'm telling him that if he is not comfortable dealing with dark rooms, they should be looking for the lantern in the outside checks. I feel like if there's nothing in the outside checks, they're going to go into Misery Mire or Turtle Rock first before. Well, they'll do Turtle Rock first before Misery Mire to see if there's a lantern there, and then go to Misery Mire. That would be the sound gameplay. If I had to mentor a runner that was not comfortable with dark rooms at all.
Really nice chomps, making good use of the iframes from hitting the pegs. I love those Samaria NMG chomp strats.
Especially when that room is the worst room, the second worst room. And don't forget your chest, buddy.
Yeah, don't forget your lunchbox. You can dash that if you're in Dark World, and then mirror over here by the lockpicker, but can't do it in the Light World.
And it looks like they're going ahead with that decision of going into Turtle Rock now. So opting in to do overworld checks for a moment to see if they can come across the lantern before coming here. This makes the most sense from what we have seen so far.
Yeah, vanilla big key in Turtle Rock today. Unfortunately, I think all of these overworld checks have now eroded the potential advantage. They do have the red mail advantage over their opponent right now, but that's really all they were able to turn up.
Sometimes in exchange for theoretically they don't know they're in the lead or not. So I feel like they're not playing it against their opponent, they're playing it against themselves. If that's one way of putting it, like what can they do better and what they cannot do better in this point, and what can they opt in to do?
Yeah.
Because at this point, you're not racing against your opponent, you're racing against what theoretically could be the best version of you. Is what I call it.
Yeah, with what you have control over, but you have control over what you choose to check. Some of the choices, I don't know if they are the same ones that situation, especially opting to do the Smith chain over the front four of thieves, but you never know what you're gonna get.
It is worth noting that we do know there's not really anything in Thieves Town because Rainman already checked it, so perhaps it's like so they still have somewhat of a lead as far as that. And I feel like if you have a lead, or if you have a lead, by taking this, if you know they have a lead or whatever, sometimes it's a good idea to do additional checks, even though you may lose that lead a little bit more, to be able to get an item that's definitely needed to ensure that you'll be able to finish the seed without much issue.
So likely a little bit of mentor intervention. Rainman going back over to the left side to pick up a little bit of extra magic before heading. It'll be our last opportunity to find the map or the lamp in Turtle Rock.
and we do not come across it, so we're gonna navigate through these dark rooms. Thankfully, though, this is not that hard. And once you plant the thing down, all it takes is holding right first, then down in quick succession, and then just working towards getting to that pot, which is right here. Hit that switch, and then navigating back onto the platform to hold up, and then great, and then hold down afterwards. You're gonna be taking a hit from the fireworks smoke, but just make sure you hold left throughout this entire sequence, and then you're done. Fire, it's a bit of a mess.
You don't have to worry about taking. Oh, we're getting back on. You don't have to worry about taking the fire bar hits, because you will have anti-fairies that you can powder before you have to go try next, and there is a big magic refill right before you have to go. So you can you don't have to be super cautious in this room versus Misery Mire is a death trap. Oh, I think Rainman might have accidentally stepped on the switch twice, because they had to navigate themselves back to it.
Looks like they got it right this time, so hopefully they will. Well, let's hope they did it. Make sure they got it right this time, because
hopefully they
stepped again.
Hopefully they stepped on it an odd number of times.
There we go. I would say they're on 4 hearts. They should go ahead and do the emergency exit, which I think our mentor told them to do, which is an excellent idea. So that way they don't have to deal with dying and then having to go all the way back over here.
So we can't get a lamp here, but we could get a half magic. We could get another sword.
Half magic would be fantastic right now. But what our runners should know is that before the boss room, there is a full magic green pot. If they don't feel comfortable dealing with this, they should go ahead and grab that, come back, and then use the blue cane or the cape in order to navigate through these laser bridge shenanigans.
Yeah, going for some laser skips with the boots.
It's a hard time.
Really hard,
but
to not bonk.
Yeah, I feel like in the time you have trouble dealing with this, you should just go and get your full green magic pot, and then deal with this, then come back to here. Because now you're dealing with game over death, and then you have to restart. Well, you'll restart from here, but oh wait, no, they have another fairy. They're wasting all their fairies. That's precious resources right there. Well, I wouldn't say fairies should be precious resources. I'm just saying you're wasting the blessings of having a revive or two.
I didn't see what we got in that last chest, but didn't look like it was anything noteworthy. We do have our map. We'll get an item off Trinex.
Alright, Rainman is going to go into the boss fight with unfortunately Master Sword, but thankfully enough they do have both Fire Rod and Ice Rod to deal with this dungeon. And some green potions, I hope, or at least a blue one.
Yeah, I'm not sure what their bottle situation is right now. They are opting for the hammer, so it will be 5 hammer hits per head. So they're halfway home on the red head. And they were able to get the menu in before the explosion.
Excellent
you'll
work
get-
there. Oh, often
Yeah,
need to do
really.
slashes for the ice head, which is good because fire rod does some damage to them.
Yeah, I think they were still locked out of menuing too, so it was just let's get some points on the board while we can.
And
Yeah,
it looks like they do not have any blues or greens, so they need to pray that they no. This is
we have one
this is
more shot.
this is no bueno. They don't have the magic
Nope.
left. They don't have the magic left. And this is very part of the what you could do from here, you can mirror out, go into the light world, flute into the potion shop, and then come back to here through this way, and then be able to, get to your whatchamacallits. But at this point, though, you're wasting a lot of time if you don't refill your magic right now. Looks like they're attempting to do it again with just one full green bar, but I don't agree with this play.
They were really close last time. It's I think the choice to go, they missed at least one shot with their rod.
I think it was 2 shots. It was 2 or 3. But I definitely knew that they was not going to have enough unless they hit like 3 hammer shots on the ice head.
Yeah. So, when they scanned their bottles, we saw there was 1 fairy remaining and a red potion. So not really concerned about health. Magic is really our limiting factor here.
Looks like they're able to deal with the redhead with a decent manner, landing each shot. Oh, I spoke to it, so no. Oh no. I mean, the fairy will revive them, but the problem is they wasted at very least 3 shots on that, unless this one misses well.
Yeah,
yes, they do not have enough to finish this fight. Unless they get 3 or 4 shots with the fire rod.
I think they have shots left. And so you'd have to be really good with the hammer. But they're gonna opt to run it back a 3rd time.
They need. I don't know what it is.
Lucien is entering Swamp Palace.
Interesting. Were they in Turtle Rock?
They were in the dark maze of Turtle Rock. They may be on an expedition for the lamp.
Oh man.
And
I would at least bought some potions. Oh wait, no, they don't even have money. Jeez, what is this?
Yeah, dark rooms can be really, really challenging. And if you have a seed with a buried lamp, it's definitely something that is really worth putting some practice time into.
Feels like both runners are going to agree to that notion of practicing dark rooms more often. And Rainman taking another unfortunate death there. Please, for the love of whatever you believe in, just go and get blues and greens. If you end up dying to this again, just please do that for me. Please do that. Please don't break my heart. But it looks like they got rid of the red one, and they still have some good amount of magic. So here's hoping that they
have 3 shots. They got 2 hits in with the hammer. So as long as they can get 2 more fire rod shots and 3 hammer hits, they're gonna make it into phase 2.
They missed 1, so now they need. Oh, well, yeah, of course they're gonna leave. I feel like if you wasted enough time failing this like 3 to 4 times, you have enough time to go back and like refill your resources. Like you have 300 rupees. There's nothing wrong going back get like 2 green potions on a red pot if you really need to.
Yeah, there's going to be no potion available for this round, but we will be going into it with 14 hearts and the blue mail.
I guess this is the trade-off for having the progression this early in the seed, I suppose. The seed was nice enough to give us the kindness of getting all the goodies at the start before tormenting us with the lantern location, as well as not having half magic too.
Yeah, while we're checking swamp and finding Trinex, worth plugging the Go Mode podcast, who have a very good episode on tips and tricks for operating in dark rooms. That was actually one of the first ones I ever listened to when I heard this podcast plug during the 2020 Cross Keys tournament, and was a really good resource as I was starting to try to learn some of these dark rooms.
Speaking of which, you should go check. I was gonna say check a look, but I'm gonna go ahead and stick with check a look anyways. You should check a look at Gomo Podcast website, because not only that they have a podcast bi-weekly that talks about the game and the events around the game that transpires, but they also do special bi-weekly seeds in their Discord, which you can join, by the way, that will pitch you against certain key element events, such as not having lantern or not having swords, and compare your times with one another. But it's a great tool resource of learning, as well as some other stuff. Meanwhile, speaking of lantern, we find it in the Swamp Palace west side of all things. Gives me another reason to hate west side Swamp Palace.
Trying a new strategy for Trinex this time around, trying to keep the ice head from ruining the floor. I like that. I think that may make this a more successful fight, as we do have the blue head down.
At some point, though, if you don't end up dealing with this successfully, you have to bite the bullet and concede to the fact that you need some sort of backups before dealing with this. Like, there's an understanding that you should be persistent, but then there's a point where that persistence turns into smashing your head against the wall a few times, thinking that you'll get a different result at this point.
Yeah, this is this has turned into a learning opportunity for this mentor mentee pair. I'm guessing they bottled a fairy at some point. They're in with 3 hearts and they don't seem that concerned.
Yeah, they have probably bottled the fairy. I didn't realize they had Bugnet to me. No, wait, that they did not bottle a fairy. Excuse me?
Yeah, that's the other aspect of it too, is that keeping a good mental state, because this is still a race and your opponent has not finished yet, so you are still in this, and I don't think either of these runners have a grasp of just how close this race is right now.
I forgot to mention it, but while they were in the swamp, while we were watching the Trinex fight and speculating, Lucien did get his go mode item, which was Lantern, so now he's gonna finish Misery Mire, and then he's gonna walk back up to Turtle Rock to finish that off. I feel like I feel like if you ended up not killing Trinex in the 2 or 3 attempts you do it, you just need to take a moment and refill or restock before fighting that again.
Yeah, bottling up 2 fairies, and I'm not super familiar with this cave. I see it in Cross Keys, but yeah, 2 fairies in behind the safety door, and they're going back.
I hope for their sake they kill Trinex, but if not, then I'm going to proceed to be very, very disappointed in them.
I wonder if they're gonna want to talk about it afterwards. I can understand.
I will
talk
be.
about
I will
Trinex.
understand that they don't want to talk about it, but personally, if I was a mentor in this situation, I would have told them it's okay to go ahead and get your potions now because you can flute to the potion shop to get it and then come back here later. You may have to make another climb to Death Mountain, but you have a mirror spot location where you can drop down to get to it. You might as well go ahead and get to it now. I mean, you might as well go ahead and get all of this out the way now and be assured that you have the safety needed to finish this fight, especially when you're having troubles dealing with it now with only one green bar of magic. And I'm not trying to be like super criticizing of this notion. I can understand trying to do this fight with only hammer, but like at this point, if you're in an actual tournament setting and you have to deal with this and you end up dropping 3 times the Trinex, you need to go back. You need to go back and refill. Like, you can make the argument of trying it again with different fairies or whatnot, but you need to go back. There is no ands or buts about it.
I mean, it's a learning opportunity. It's not an elimination scenario.
Well, yeah, that's what I meant in other tournament settings. Like, if you drop to Trinex in another tournament setting, then you need to just go back and restart.
But we are into phase 2. To answer chat, our lamp was on left side of Pendant Swamp. Lucien opted to be thorough and go looking for a lamp and some swords, and was rewarded with the lamp eventually. Rainman has continued to go after Trinex and succeeded in now getting him into phase 2.
And I think they have another fairy, right? Okay, there we go.
Yeah, they had 2.
Okay.
Now Lucien has mopped up Mire. No items of note so far, and down goes Trinex. Come on, give him a sword. He's earned it.
Nope, the sea continues to be rude. Why I'm not surprised. Got my boy here struggling out here on the grind and just gives him a piece of heart. Not even half a heart or a full heart, just a piece of it.
Yeah, not even a half magic, which would be kind of mean in its own way. But Vitreous goes down on Lucien's side, and so we are tied up at 6 apiece.
Great job from both runners, but more specifically, excellent work from Rayman for at the very least sticking out to the end like that. I would have not done the same thing, but sometimes you just gotta.
And so I think Rainman's gonna pick up the mushroom and then make a pit stop by the potion shop on his way to Mire. Lucien, checking the contents of his bottles, I think is probably going to do the same before entering TR. Unfortunately, drink his red to make room for a blue, but you can only afford a couple. You can kiss the witch for a free health refill.
I was gonna say, at this point, if you're low on money, 2 greens and two greens and a blue with the kind of money that you got, not the money that you got, but the money that Rainman has, will probably be a better idea. Save you a spot for a fairy as well.
Yeah, I think a green is nice because you can slap that cape on for phase 2 if you're doing a Master Sword Cannon, and just try to get it done as soon as possible. And since you're not taking damage, it is a cheaper alternative to refill your magic before you have to go into the phase 3 and 4.
And it looks like Rainman is probably going to do Blacksmith Chain. And then take the Blacksmith Chain into going to Misery Mire. Or Swamp Palace, which is actually where the Mentor is
Yeah, this is a very nasty lamp placement.
It's disgusting.
The seed was pretty friendly with that one glaring exception, as well as the the lack of a sword.
The seed was playing nice all the way up to this point. Now it's absolutely disgusting.
But this is a great seed to have someone over your shoulder talking you through how to get through some of these fights. Helping keep you calm when you're going through some refights. I know in one of my, and it was just nice having a calming voice help talk you back off the ledge to be like, your opponent's not done, get back in there and finish the fight.
Kind of like how that song goes. They smile in your face all the time, trying to take your place. Them backstabbers. Looks like they're gonna pick up the 5 rupees because they may end up wanting to get some more money later on down the line. But I wonder if they know Houlihan could still be an option for them to do. They have yet to hit that room up.
Yeah, they have the flippers, but there is the alternative set up on the back of Escape where you arm yourself into the hole. Oh no, he needs Smith money. He's short of the 10 required to get the Smith check.
Stun prize should help him out. That's 1 rupee.
Yeah.
Should only take like should only be like 10 rupees, right, for the Smith check, right?
Yeah, this is a flipping over couch cushions looking for anything, but they'll be able to turn in the purple chest and dip the 50 rupee cave.
Get 5 rupees for that effort. Now they go back to the village.
Yeah,
that makes sense. It's fine.
Yeah, recommendation from chat. Next year we're doing casual lamp.
Casual lamp. I you know what? I'm all for that idea. Put me second to agree to that idea right now, because our runners are going through some very rough things right now without that lamp.
Yeah. But again, it's still Rainman is doing the alternative Houlihan setup.
And successfully nails it. Gives him 255 rupees here. That should give him some more money to work with to pay off the Smiths, as well as get perhaps another blue potion or so. Actually, I think green will do. Because I did see him pick up 2 blues.
Yeah, that's a blue and a green.
Cool ahead for Smith money. I feel like if any other veteran runner is watching this right now, they'll have an aneurysm. But we need to understand that we take our blessing of the knowledge of the game for granted at some times. But it's okay.
I wonder, are they going to take this? Maybe it's a combo that they also want Pyramid Fairy money, or are they taking this to Swamp Palace? Swamp is denser, but it's Pendant Swamp, dude. Nobody likes Pendant Swamp.
Nobody likes Pendant Swamp, especially when it has your lantern in there.
So Lucien and his mentor having a few words of encouragement, setting up a game plan before they go into this fight. We've seen how dangerous single magic Master Sword Trinex can be.
Well, they have blues though. They have a blue, and they could most definitely
they're going for
on that magic. Look at that. Well, technically, I would have want them to use their Master Sword too to save all that magic.
Yeah.
But still. Oh my goodness. I'm not laughing because they just kind of went wild on it. I'm laughing because of the predicament that the both runners were in, having issues. Just the situation of just this.
Unfortunately, Lucien's gone a little bit too hog wild and has now drank 320 rupees of potions during this fight. And we know how hard it is to come across 320 rupees in this seed.
Calm down, Lucien, please. Okay, there we go.
All right.
Oh
in the
my
face,
goodness. All right, as long as they don't touch Trinex here.
They've got red mail and they got 6 hearts. They can get friendly. Opting for some spins, which will be doing temper sword damage and has a much friendlier hitbox than trying to swing the hammer. Yeah, GT's going to be loaded with rupees, and at this point, it's like almost definitely got to have at least one sword.
Yeah. All right, time to get your bets in. Which big key location will be in Ganon's room? Ganon's tower, not Ganon's room. Ganon's tower. Blah, blah, blah. I like to think it's the 6th chest location. What do you think, Flex?
So I'm trying to count them in my head. So I'm thinking it's gonna be the fire bar shot room, which for me, I'm a right sider first. So that would be 2, 6, 7, 11, 12. Lucky number 13.
Alrighty.
But yeah, now's your chance to gamble all of your channel points. Big money on odds, smart money on even. But go ahead and lock me in for lucky number 13, the possibility this seed has been. But I think it's going to be the fire bar bookshot room right before Rando room.
Oh, wait a minute. It seems like our runner is oh, they got the book. I just not realized that. That was on the book was on Trinex.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
The book, I think it was somewhere in Meyer, because Rainman.
Oh, right, somewhere in Meyer. Okay, right.
So, but that much closer to a Ozen swamp. Thank you, Chart Tracker.
Yeah, bettings are closed as we get a first item check, which is the compass. Time to move on to the left side some more.
Yeah, going full left. What's your standard GT route?
Check hold room, then go left. If there's not
full left. Nice. I've always been a compass first. I've been coming around on DDM the last few seeds.
Oh, okay.
Gotta see how you feel.
Looks like Lucien is gonna do the same thing here.
Yeah, I like it. You mirror out of the Stolfos room. You get a key, so you know you get to continue on to compass. And compass side the compass chest is 4 key locked. So I think you have a higher likelihood of running into some items over there as well. So since we are fishing for another sword.
But yeah, check number 7 didn't yield any of the desired results. Not even a sword, no less. So our search still continues for the big key here, as we are coming across the last room before the compass room.
All right, are we gonna get to see a Samaria punt?
There's a toss for the first one. And unfortunately, they're getting blocked by the mummy. So looks like they're just gonna. Okay, there we go. Yeah, looks like they're just gonna toss it over. No punts today. There is our big key.
Is that number 9?
Yep, that is number 9. Because there's 5 on the left side, and then if you do the Dark Magician strat, you go into Hope Room, which is 2 more, and then going into here, second chest was number 9.
Hey, congratulations, Lady Box Thief. Got sniped on the 8 guess and ended up on the correct guess of 9. So now it's up to Tower. We have 3 chances left to find a better sword, or we are it's going to be spin to win time.
I mean, sword is fantastic, but if it's not going to be sword, please, for the love of God, let there be a half magic.
Yeah, we were able to pick up some more money in Ganon, so if we are looking at a potential Master Sword plus Silver's Ganon, Lucien will have the option to go get 2 more blue potions before that fight, which would open up the opportunity to use the cape more.
Meanwhile, Rainman is doing some bold strats here as he goes into the dark room of Misery Mire. It looks like they are going to try to line themselves up to the switch to try to hit the block to get through here. This is tough to navigate because of the shooters. Getting hit by them will probably knock you out of the position that you need to do to get to place your Shimura block down and to get out of this dungeon. But let's see if they get that in today. Because if they can, that'll be very, very huge on their end. And it looks like they almost had it, but they pushed the block further up, unfortunately. So they're... Oh, wait.
Okay. It locked a little bit.
But yeah, this is one of the reasons why people would favor having Lantern right now before doing this.
It also does space out very nicely. If you want to pick up a block and stand all the way against that bottom wall, it will throw perfectly up on there if you do have the right left-right positioning. That's how I would handle a Dark Mire.
And as I noticed when he was when he realized he was like on the button, the moment he like let go of his spin and whatnot to try to line himself up to place the block above him, Spitter just hit him out of that position again.
Yeah, this room is cutthroat. It's so hard to recognize you're on the right position, get a block down, and not get hacked by the shooters.
So I'm not sure if it works, but what I usually do if I have to face a situation like this in a dark room, I line myself up to the north wall and then start moving towards the left. The diagonal slant will push you down close enough to the button, and then I look to the right, move down a little bit, look to the right, and then place my Shimura block to see if I can hit it from there, because that's where the switch location is at. But taking that unfortunate death, it looks like they're conceding to the idea of Dark Room Misery Mire and are going to go into Swamp Palace from the looks of it to get they're going to end up getting their lantern here. They're going to be very disgusted about the lamp's location and then just promptly leave at that point.
Yeah, I kind of mentioned it on the moth fight earlier, but it's, you want to go fast, but dying is very, very slow. So there's definitely some learning here of knowing what you can do consistently, knowing some things to practice that I think both these runners can come away with. Getting his head against a couple of Trinex fights without enough magic, whereas Lucien did a lot more checks and was able to find the stuff he needed to do it without dying, and that's upstairs in GT while his opponent is working on his last crystal.
Slowly but surely getting through all of the rest of these dungeons. It looks like they only have like one blue left. I'm not entirely sure, but they're going to have to consider using it at some point.
I think so. They just because they went so hog wild on Trinax. But they will have the money to get 2 more blues before Ganon. I wouldn't be surprised if they mirror at the top of the pyramid, flute to 2. But they're gonna have to
start
move.
dashing, start dashing. You have your boots, start dashing. Okay, there we go. Barely made it because I know that stutter in the animation, the lasers tell me that door was about to close there. But yeah, thankfully there's another green full pot here after this room, so they can just use the fire rod here.
Yeah,
well, they're going to have to
also fill up before Ganon. 3 chances left for a sword.
2 more chances, which is rather unfortunate.
Yeah, it's now almost up to 2 blues and a red. Wise.
They should be able to. Yeah, they got magic powders. They should be able to refill. Here. Yep. And chest, the final second chest, 10 arrows. Don't forget your magic refill. Okay, there we go.
Alright, opting for the hammer strats on Moldorm 2.
Yeah, 3 good swings on that brings Mordorm down. You don't have to see his enraged mode, and unfortunately gets pushed off. Mort 1 to the runners 2.
Rainman is setting up a diver down, dropping the bomb over there. Very nice little bit of tech to get the key and flood it for left side.
And successfully gets it with some arcane block. Excellent work. Round 2, and Lucien gets pushed off once more, tying up the series between the runners and Mort 2-2. And it looks like it's almost, and there we go. Down goes Mort for the second time for Lucien. Thankfully was able to get that 3rd time's the charm, but sometimes you cannot predict what Mort goes. As we get a shield for the final chest. That's not gonna really help us out that much. We was hoping for a sword, but you know what? It seems like we're going to be doing Ganon with silvers and the massive sword.
Yeah, and there's the lamp for Rainman, who will be on his way back to Misery Mire.
I hope he's going to get some potions, but doesn't look like they're. I think they're not. Just saying, you can just stop by there anytime if you want to.
Yeah, probably feeling some urgency.
Well, I feel like if it's a case of urgency, you probably already lost at this point, especially if you fought Trinax a lot at this point. But meanwhile, Lucien was having a little bit of issues with Agatu, but now successfully defeated him. He is going to go ahead and move on to the last part of the seed, which is fighting Ganon himself. And we'll see how he'll handle Master Sword Ganon, which could be a lot harder, could not be. Who knows? Let's find out and see.
Yeah, it's a really tough fight. I wonder if they're going to get potions, because you're pretty short on money. No, they're going straight in. But you could get potions and then also save and quit to set up a potential save scum of those potions, since money is so tight right now. But with the cape, and I believe they still have at least 1 blue potion.
thankfully with Red Mail, that Trident does not do a lot of damage. So they should be able to be a little bit reckless, so to say, in these spins to get double spins on. But the moment they move into like phase 2, though, they're gonna have to wise up a little bit, which should be coming up like right now. Yep, there we go. Now, see, if you have Tempered Sword, you can do some good slashes here. Then use your hook shot to use the iframes to go through the bat circle, and then get a few more slashes. But and that will take care of, at the very least, a 2 cycle on the Ganon. Unless you're super good at the game, then that'll be a 1 cycle. But
yeah, opting not to use the cape.
I admire this kind of plan, so to say. But get a little too close to Ganon there. Almost took a hug from him. It looks like they're going to actually switch to the cape now to start doing some more spin damage from here. But oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say the best way to deal with phase 2 is just make it phase 3 as quickly as possible.
Yeah. They're gonna go ahead and use their blue potion here. They slip through the circle in order to start spinning from the most desirable location in the game, getting them to phase 3. That was pretty amazing. I don't know how they was able to do that, but you know what? If you could just clip into there in within a frame or whatnot, more power to you, because good lord. Having some issues trying to get a damage on Ganon, which is
right. Confirming that they have a fairy in the bottle, getting set up to get their torch glitch. But yeah, you can't be afraid to make friends when you're spinning Ganon. You got to get in there close.
There we go. Contained the phase successfully. Now they just have to wait till the Ganon stops teleporting, do the damage needed. But they should be switching to their lantern so they can save the magic in order to land the torch glitch, because they ain't got no more greens left. What are you doing?
Oh, they were going for the spin, but they got blocked off the torch. Ganon moved right in the way.
There is the fairy revival right there. But what I'm going to say is, at this point, I would have valued getting the torch glitch first before trying to do any sort of damage. You may have silvers, yeah, but if you end up oopsie daisying at some point, you're going to regret it.
All right, that's 2
hits from Ganon, so you just need 2 more to finish it off.
Yeah, opting to go for the lamp to conserve magic. Ooh, very close to the edge there. We were
they're getting reckless, but they managed to get a good shot in, but not the double that they needed to finish the big boy off. But
don't take a bad hit.
There is the spin, and there is the arrow to seal the deal. Ganon goes down finally for LucienGreeth. Yeah, get your GGs out for him as he crosses the bridge to finish the seed.
Yeah, the final boss of the game, the 3-pixel bridge, and that is a GG's to LucienGreeth, who is our winner today, with a racetime.gg time of 2:07:22.
But to answer the chat, no, you cannot defeat Ganon with regular slashes with Master Sword, because it doesn't do damage at all to Ganon. You have to at the very least spin. If you have Tempered Sword, then yes, you can damage Ganon through that way. Or if you have Gold Sword, you can do that even faster with just regular slashes, even pokes. But yeah, it looks like meanwhile, Rainman is going through the Ganon's Tower. It looks like they're going to work on finishing the seed as well as they go through the left side of Ganon's Tower.
Yeah, with the my understanding of the tournament rules, part of your seeding is part of your final times with a maximum differential of like 15 minutes. So if you can finish the seed within 15 minutes of your opponent finishing, it is beneficial to you to still finish the seed out. And some more GT and Ganon practice never hurt anybody.
Yeah, that doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt. So, I had a funny dream, I think, recently. It involved one of the bigger Stalfoses, the one that you have to like hit to make them crumple.
Okay.
So I was just in my room, just minding my own business. And for some reason, like the wall across from me in my room just breaks down. This giant Stoffel just comes in. And he starts laughing and speaking in Spanish, and I don't know why. I started laughing my ass off till I woken up.
That is horrifying.
I don't know what it was. I don't know why I found it funny as I don't know what. Like a lot of people that start screaming, I'm just sitting here laughing my butt off because a giant skeleton speaking in Spanish crashed through my wall.
We are going to see more of the left side than we saw, but we are joined by our winner, Lucien, and his mentor, Dragonite. GG's.
Thank you very much.
Good job out there.
Some rough goings for a little while.
Yeah, the seed started to play nice with you up until the point where y'all had to look for the lantern.
Yeah, I've done Turtle Rock Dark maybe once or twice in the time I played, and I maybe overestimated myself. But after a couple attempts, like let's burn it down, go look for the lamp, come back. We'll pull through.
Yeah, and that ended up kind of deciding it. Your opponent also tried to push through some of this stuff as well, but GG's for knowing your limits and going to find what you needed to finish, because that ultimately let you pull ahead at the end.
Yeah, I know for a fact I couldn't do Darkmire. That's unless I absolutely no other shot. Darkmire was off the table, but I thought maybe I could do Dark TR. Nah, that's a no-go. And then we thought we had flippers and mirror, so kind of maybe Swamp had the answer.
Yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense. It was the densest area available. Still no other swords out there. How did you feel going into a Master Sword Ganon with just the one potion?
A little nervous. Once things started going off the rail, I just kind of backed off, played it a bit safe. So I was getting a little too aggressive phase 2 and kind of took some unnecessary hits in phase 3 and 4. I just thought there had 3 hearts left. Like, let's play it safe. We got silvers. Let's just don't do anything stupid.
We was gonna say you played kind of super aggressive near the end there, because when you went to try next, you just decided you wanted to light up the ice head like a Christmas tree at that point.
Yeah, do you get paid by the fire rod use?
No, but I do.
I'll talk to my agent about that.
The other thing I wanted to ask is when you were going through and doing a lot of overworld checks, you did the smith chain, I guess fishing for lamps, sword, but chose not to go into the front of thieves. Was that a conversation between the two of you?
I don't think it came up, because I know we put off Village of Outcasts pretty late too.
basically came down to the moment. If there was anything in Thieves Town, we would have already lost. So we decided to just, or rather, I pushed him away from Thieves Town. Because if you're racing 1 versus 1, then one of the big things is if you go to if you last location a place that you know that your opponent probably has done before, then you're just going to lose out on time. So since we were already in what we felt behind because we didn't have lamp and we died a few times in TR and we couldn't do mire. So well, let's just do the overall checks and then just go for the fastest checks. And, yeah, if it wasn't Thieves Town, our opponents would have most likely already done it.
Spyre, yeah.
Yeah,
Thieves Town and Green Pendant did turn out to be totally a bust. Once Dark World Access came into play, the two of you chose to stay in Logic, whereas your opponent went up the mountain early, and so you were able to go very nicely into South Dark World, pick up that flute, whereas your opponent had already done a lot of stuff more on like the north side and Thieves Town.
All right.
It's worth noting that your opponent, they decided to break the logic earlier by going into Death Mountain before looking for like before going through like the logic, the logical way, and that kind of, I feel like that initially hurt them a lot more than like the other stuff that they did.
It put off the boots for sure. I think we thought people were kind of routing around the lamp. The seed was very nice early. We had no idea that the lamp was just going to be absolutely buried.
Yeah, and like that with the land being so late, I was just like, come on.
So I guess heading into week 4, probably gonna be doing some darkroom practice.
Yeah, definitely. At Turtle Rock at the very least. I know Myers like the granddaddy of darkroom navigation, next to Aga, but who does that?
Yeah, there's no reason to do Dark Aga in this mode.
I feel like if you have to do Aga Darkroom, there is something completely wrong with the seed for that to be happening. But I feel like at that point you'll end up with the lantern much sooner if Aga 1 was required to go through the seed.
Well, I remember a seed where my only source of East Dark World access was Aghanim.
Yeah.
That was also a bust. But yeah, it's one of those things, exactly. Like you said, Aghanim is usually not in logic until you find the lamp. But at the same time, I believe that here we knew, the boots were locking Dark World, so as a result, just stay in logic as long as you can, because you're either finding the lamp, which is very useful, as has been shown, but also that means the boots have to be very early in the seed, because else you're going to have a very late Dark World, and there are only so many live world checks.
Yeah.
If it was cross keys on the other hand, but let's not talk about that, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of which, Lucien, for next week, cross keys seems like a very good thing to do.
I never actually played cross keys, so I will beat my head into that wall.
Just bring a tracker.
Yeah, if you want some practice on some very weird boss loadouts, that's a great mode. Yeah, Lucien, you took a couple early deaths too, including ball and chain, a little bit of restream nerves.
We agreed on this. We agreed on this very early on. I swear to God, I hit the button to throw that pod. I don't know if maybe it was some lag or I don't know what, but we agreed early on in the interview. We're just gonna blame the controller for everything.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
It's definitely a controller. It could definitely not be either one of us.
No.
Well, it can't be me because I don't have the controller, but so it's never my fault. That's the beauty of being a mentor.
You should have taught me to have a better controller.
Oh. Hey, look, I play on keyboards, so I can't help you there.
So,
In any case.
While we were talking, Rainman is still at it with the seed, but thankfully enough, they're at the Moldrum 2 fight. They're gonna look to finish it up pretty soon with the good 3 spins with the Master Sword.
Yeah, I'm gonna get the news that they are not gonna get bailed out with a sword in GT.
They get the disgusting mirror shield though. Ugh.
So where they essentially full cleared GT because they went Hope Room and then left.
So
Are these swords in the back of Swamp, back of Pod, I guess.
well, there's one on the pedestal.
Oh wow. I didn't
So-
even notice that.
Was there sword on the pedestal?
There was a
Yeah.
sword on pedestal. I was looking at the
Okay.
credits. I was like, glad we dodged that
Damn.
bullet.
Vanilla swords.
Yeah. Not even, because we didn't get bailed out by one on the blacksmith.
And Fairy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, a vanilla sword, I guess, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny. Like, call it a moment of foresight. But like last night, one of the last things I did before I went to bed was I practiced. Like, for the very first time, I did a Master Sword run against Ganon. So
Oh, yeah, see, that's what's up.
Yeah, well, it's always a good thing to have in your back pocket. You really put off putting on that cape there for a while. I was getting a little bit scared.
yeah, I think I got aggressive and tried to get 1 or 2 more shots in before I threw on the cape.
Good job getting behind him though.
Yeah, that's actually something like I starting out. I think I posted the video in the MT General chat, but like that's like something I picked up on as the race is going on because like Master Ganon is such a long drawn out fight. You kind of learn as you go, and I noticed those gaps were like getting good opportunities to double up on spins.
Yeah, you can see Rayman's worked himself into that top corner through the cape on
That
for.
top right corner is like the golden spot.
Yeah, that's a sweet spot.
That's definitely the case. I mean,
Golden-
if you get there, you can actually get with Master Sword, you can get a single phase Ganon. Ah, there he is. But
Yeah.
the only thing you don't want to do is you don't want to point your sword at Ganon because you might poke Ganon and as a result actually lose your charge.
Yeah, I think that happened at least once or twice in my run last night.
Yeah, you
So-
do have to be careful with that.
You always want to be facing a wall, but that's like it is something you'll learn with time. A lot of these things is a lot of experience. As I was talking to Lucien during the seed, it's a lot about ingraining the movement into your memory instead of having to improvise it every turn.
Yeah.
So tap into Ultra Instinct.
It's and also don't be afraid to use potions. Just buy them. You have the money for it. It's not a bad thing. Just use those safeties. That's what they're for.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of like nailing in during the seed because Rayman, when they were at Trinex, they didn't have like any green potions or blue potions at all.
Ooh.
And they ended up failing to kill the first phase, I think 3 times. And I was like, I mentioned like at this point, if you're going to mess up like this, you need to go back and get some safeties of some sort because it's not working out right now. But they've been pretty adamant on doing it. So
Rayman.
Yeah, there are a lot of people who are just as a bit. There are a lot of people who are saying, yeah, safeties only teach you how to play with safeties. I always say better to have a safety with you than actually run out of safeties when you actually need them. And oftentimes you just stop using them when you don't need them. That's
Yeah, better have it not need it than need it not have it.
yeah. But yeah, Ganon goes down finally for Rayman. Get your GGs out for him as he crosses the bridge with a time of 2 hours, 23 minutes, and 3 seconds, I think.
GG.
Yeah.
They did good work. They definitely did good work in finishing out this scene.
Yeah, it was It was a very mean. It was a very mean seed with that lamp placement.
Yeah, it was.
I remember saying when we were at what was it, 1 hour or something? Hey, I think we just need lamp for go. Maybe
Yeah,
bombos.
We thought maybe for a few minutes we thought we were in go mode. Then we thought, oh well, you know, Darkmire is
Yeah.
no go. So
You were, I think, fairly early in the seed. Lamp and flippers away from logical go mode, and then the Bombos was just immediately in Ice Palace. So it was just kind of we're talking about. There's probably a conversation happening on both sides right now about, all right, what do we feel comfortable with? What are we still looking for? Obviously, we're not going to say no to a sword. We're not going to say no to silvers, but how much should we check?
yeah.
Yeah.
Let me check who rolled the seeds. Okay. Oh. It was Rainman, so only. I was about to say maybe we can blame Trey, but that's not. I believe Trey has been banned from running seeds. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I was super nervous because like I had that one, I know I had the blue potion, but I'd rather not use that blue potion, final blue potion against Trinex. I had like one ice rod shot left. Moment of truth. I like it made that last shot count.
So I believe that Rainman and alaszun are going to pass on the interview.
That's fine. Though I do hope they take a look at the Rainman, take a look at the footage again to understand where we're coming from this sort of explaining this sort of seed out. But I do hope they do take like whatever they have learned so far and push it to the next level, because like despite having ended up dying a lot of times during this fight, they did manage to stay persistent in finishing out the seed. And I think that was within the 15-minute time frame, was it?
Looks like it was just slightly over. But still, 1 and 2 is a solid record. About half the tournament field is at a 0-3, 1 and 2 right now.
Has to be in that record standing. So, but yeah.
Lucien, congratulations on 2-1. Maybe we'll run into each other next week.
Yeah, we'll see where we all end up.
I don't think I have any other questions or any other things to elaborate on for this race, unless you do, Clicks.
I'm all good. Any closing thoughts on the seed?
Just gotta practice those dark rooms.
Yeah, it was definitely an amused lamp seed for looking at the race room. But yeah, it's logic wasn't kind, and sticking it out, finishing the race, and at the same time being able to keep your head together, as this took about 2 hours 20 minutes. It's hard. So GG to Rainman.
Yep,
and,
GG Rainman.
I hope that he will keep improving. It was a very tough scene.
It was. I agreed. It was definitely a tough scene to do. But with that should conclude for today's. Oh wait, no, not today. Yeah, I guess it should be today. That concludes for today's Como podcast restream of the Mentor Tournament for 2021. Do give our runners a follow for doing a fantastic job today, as well as our mentors for doing the best work of guiding our runners through this seed, because this was no walk in the park whatsoever. Give a follow to our tracker, who did fantastic work keeping track of all the action, C13, as well as our Restreamer, Trey Spyre, who gave us the blessing to watch and commentate on the seed that's being streamed to you today, as well as my co-commentator buddy over here, Clicks, who did amazing work with the commentator booth today. Thank you very much for being there with me.
Yeah, thanks, Esper. It was a ton of fun. Great way to spend a Sunday afternoon. I believe we do have another restream race coming up at 6 o'clock Eastern time, so about 3.5 hours from now.
Oh,
so
okay, yeah.
hope if you've enjoyed the race, follow the channel, check out the podcast, and come join us in a few hours to see another couple of runners.
Till then, thank you very much for watching. See you then.